Hello, welcome back to Tailosive Movie Reviews. This is not our permanent set.
No.
This is...
It has a plant, which I kind of like.
We have plant, we have white wall, which is all you need to review a movie.
Exactly.
But no, this will have soundproofing later.
Is any reference.
Yeah.
All he needs is a really good white wall.
That's true. No, we're still setting up stuff. This is our temporary review set. Sorry if it's blinding. We'll make it more interesting next time. Yeah. Anywho. Today we're reviewing Shazam, which we didn't see together.
No,
but
I saw it over in Chico last night after work, and because I was closing, and so I didn't get out of there until maybe like 11, I think, is when I started leaving town.
So 2 different times, but we still saw the same movie within the same 8 hours.
Yeah, it's still fresh in our brains.
Yes,
basically.
Essentially, yes. Yes. So. General thoughts. I want to hear yours. Go ahead.
I really liked it. There's a couple parts where I was just kind of like, but otherwise I was like, this felt like an actual. It felt like they had to take the DC darkness blinders off for like 15 seconds and just like let them do their thing. And I was like, okay. I liked how they picked Zachary Levi because. The entire movie, I was just like, okay, no, that's not Zachary Levi. That's a teenager in a grown man's body. That's all that's going on here. And I just like the dynamic. I know, like, Spider-Man has a direct equivalent in DC. I can't remember who it is. I think it's Blue Beetle. Oh, okay. But I'm thinking, I think to myself that Shazam, at least right now, for cinematic purposes, is kind of the closest thing we have to Spider-Man because he's still a teenager, who's thrust into being a superhero.
There's a lot of similar.
There's a lot of similar stuff going
morals,
on.
Too. It's like responsibility with power, you know.
Yeah, I mean.
They kind of throw that together.
I mean, Spider-Man originally decided to go with pro wrestling when he first got his powers, and Shazam is a street performer. Right. And I'm like, okay.
Wants to take selfies.
Yeah, wants to take selfies.
He made a YouTube channel and got 3,000 subscribers.
I was going to say, that was awesome.
It was funny to me when they were uploading stuff to YouTube and all the numbers were like... 2,000 subs. Oh my god, we're viral. It was just I don't know. Okay, so you liked it.
I liked it.
I think I'm a bit more on the opposite. Okay. There were good things I enjoyed in it, but overall I didn't think it was very good. Okay. And I know I'm in the minority there. I've been on the internet for a while and I know most people like the movie. But it's mostly because it let me I have a hard time accepting that this is in the same universe as the rest of the DCU.
I can totally see that.
And I wish they would kind of kept it a bit more separate. The thing is, they kept dragging it back in. They kept referencing. Right. You brought up to me before we started recording that it bothered you just as much as it bothered me. Yeah. That there's like T-shirts and merch and Batman toys in the Batman universe.
Yeah, there needs to be some more there. Somebody once brought up that they should just do Flashpoint and retcon a bunch of stuff, and so we could disregard things. Cause
I don't think that's a terrible idea.
It's not a terrible idea. If they only kept, like, at this point, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Shazam, and maybe Man of Steel if you want to go that route, I think they'd be better off at this point, because I'm thinking, okay, so clearly at some point Batman was cool enough to be marketable. Yeah. That they're still banking on that fact, even though he's kind of driving into techno serial killer status.
Yeah, and Dawn of Justice referenced him as a thug who, you know, beats up criminals and kills people, and he does.
It bugs me because I'm like, okay, we all make those memes and jokes like, I'm Batman. Yeah. I'm Batman. Get him, Batman! It's like, okay, but you kind of...
We can do that.
Yeah, we can do that, but you have to acknowledge... Like, if... It would make more sense to me if it was a Superman toy. Because it's like, okay, clearly people like Superman, even though they're like putting on this fake debate in Dawn of Justice for some reason.
Right. It's still a little confusing because there was a big chunk of Dawn of Justice where they all hated Superman. Yeah. And now everyone loves him. So like the poor writing of Dawn of Justice is still affecting movies today.
It's echoing.
It's echoing throughout the universe.
I feel like we're on a still lake and we're trying to get as further out as we can, but someone threw a freaking boulder like 3 miles away,
and the ripple effect is still going.
Have you ever been on a it makes me think of when I go fishing with my dad and we're just over on the bank just doing our thing, and then someone Zack Snyder and the wake affects you and you're like, dang it.
Yeah. Anyway, that's more universe stuff.
That's more world building.
Right. In regards to the film itself, I think my main issue was I felt like I liked Zachary Levi.
Yeah.
Why don't I say things I like?
There you go.
I appreciate Shazam as a hero when he's in the Shazam form.
Right.
I thought it was pretty funny. Levi's performance was very much acting like a teenager, which was good.
Yeah. He nailed it.
He nailed that. I think that was a good casting pick, though I felt like the teenage actor they got to play Billy didn't mesh well with Levi's interpretation of a teenager.
Right.
I felt like when he turned into a kid, he thought he was better than everyone, and he was kind of he was just like, I'm better than I don't care.
I mean, that's kind of accurate to a teenager anyway.
It is.
But I see your point.
It is. But then once he becomes Shazam, then he becomes more of an 8-year-old than a 14-year-old. You know what I mean? Like, he gets more childish, and he's like, he gets like, whoa, I can fly. Your phone's charged. Your phone's charged. And I'm like, I can't envision Billy doing that.
There's a disconnect going on there.
Yeah,
I agree.
I felt like those didn't mesh very well.
Maybe it's just a matter of, like, I guess the proper term would be bloated overconfidence, just because it's like suddenly you have muscles and you're like 6'3".
I like how I mean, it's bad, but he went to a strip club and then he tries to buy booze, and
I thought that was
accurate.
That was extremely accurate. I love that part. I just love that. Like, I need more money. You were in there for 5 minutes. They're very convincing. Or when they like have beer for the first time, blah,
right,
tastes like actual vomit.
Right, they don't like booze even after they get it. There was a lot of scenes that of a DC film, it really felt like it was catered towards a younger demographic than I've ever seen. There was a lot of jokes, and especially near the end when it's like the kids will save the day, I was like, this is comedy, but it's like young comedy.
Oh yeah.
This is targeted towards very young audiences.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that, but it's impossible
it's
to
also
ignore.
cut with scenes of a scientist touching a door and turning to ash.
Yeah.
Very painfully, by the way.
Did you find the 7 Deadly Sins kind of over the top scary for the setting of the film?
A little bit, yeah. I was thinking to myself when I was watching it, I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting though, because I kept
trying to figure out which one was lust.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking what Shazam was thinking. It was like, I expected lust to be way hotter.
But I just kept thinking about it because I was like, I liked how in Wonder Woman they kind of established that the Greek mythos is a thing that actually happened.
So they're staying true to that.
So they're staying true to that. Atlantis is something that's always been around apparently, and
Yep.
it's present in Aquaman. And now we're going to 7 Deadly Sins, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest Shazam fan or anything. I don't know anything about him.
No one really is, I think.
So when I find out, oh, his thing is the 7 Deadly Sins, I'm like, so is Shazam a Christian superhero now? I mean,
he has to resist.
I'm pretty sure Zachary
gluttony.
Levi is an evangelical.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay.
They're going that route.
They're going that route.
But yeah, I felt like they could have done something a tad more creative with it. You know, there were elements where you could have had because there are 7 deadly sins, you know, that each have their own, you know, greed, lust, but they didn't go anywhere with it, even though they had parts that you could have tied in, like with them eating all the junk food from 7-Eleven or going to the strip club or
I want to know more about the original Shazam himself, because he was saying this stuff about like how my brothers died. Like, okay, so how come they didn't like find heirs like you are exactly?
Right.
Stuff like that. And
so they gave all their powers to you right before they died?
Yeah. Did they just like fall in battle and didn't find their champion to keep up to hold the torch up? And
I also felt that the wizard giving his powers to Billy was a little. It could have been more comedic, because it should have been more of a viewpoint of like, oh, this guy is clearly not a good person. Like, he's clearly a bad person, but the wizard is so fed up of trying that he's just gonna hand it off to him anyway. Like, he could have played that off a bit more comedic. Instead, they treated it more.
They treated it a little bit
seriously. Like, you will receive all my powers, and I give you. There was a little bit of Billy being snarky and being like, what?
Yeah, like if
Your name's Shazam?
if they have kept that throughout with his character, I think it would have been more consistent and better. But it's I don't know where they lost that.
Yeah, there was a lot of, and I should say I didn't hate the movie.
Yeah,
it wasn't a train wreck. It wasn't terrible for me. It just a lot of the comedy was falling flat, and that I did watch it in a not so crowded theater, but I will mention like barely anyone laughed at a lot of the jokes. I don't know how it was for your theater.
I think it was moderate enough laughing.
Yeah,
I'm trying to. I liked how the after credit scene. I was just thinking to myself, okay, this just got really goofy.
Yeah,
like. You know, the bad guy's locked up, he's been depowered, and now he's talking to some kind of caterpillar with a voice box on its chest. I'm like, okay.
Right. Well, the funniest part, I think, in the whole movie for me was the very last scene where Shazam comes forward to announce publicly that he's friends with Billy so that Billy feels confident and stuff. And then Superman with his head cut off walks into this scene and everyone's like, and then credits. That was probably the most funny joke I think in the whole movie because I don't know if you know, but Henry Cavill is backed out. So
has he really?
Yeah, no, they can't get him anymore. He's not in the universe anymore. So knowing that and seeing that his head was cut off means that there was some other guy.
They pan up and it's Michael B. Jordan's face.
It's Tom Cruise. No, it's Nick Cage when they pan up.
Oh my God, yes.
Because he was gonna play Superman, but
I would love that so much.
It was funny to me just because I'm thinking back to Man of Steel and how dark and serious that was, and they're tying that in with this, and it doesn't mesh well. But
maybe they'll just get Dean Cain back.
Yeah,
that'd be funny. I saw somebody complaining about how like it's time for a person of color to play Superman, and he's just like, guys, it's only been like 20 years.
Yeah, let's get him back.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
But no, I thought it just felt a little clunky plot-wise. Like I think what didn't set well for me was the character wasn't likable from the start.
Okay.
Like he locks the police officers in a jewelry store and then uses their car to look up a license plate, which I was like, okay, I don't think you have to do that to look up a plate number. Well, I mean, maybe you can't.
Probably can, but I'm assuming there's other ways that he could think of. But he was like, "I'm a teenager. I'm gonna go for the extreme."
Right.
But I agree.
It just made him unlikable to me, though. I was just like, "Oh, what a jerk!" You know, that he would like,
bro. And then he stole his lunch.
Yeah,
monster.
He stole the cop's lunch. I feel like there would be heavier consequences for getting into a police car than just being like sent home. That's all they did, and I was like, oh man, this kid's a jerk. I hate this kid. Maybe if I was younger, I would have related more.
I liked what's his name? Freddie, the cripple kid.
Oh, okay.
I loved him. I thought to myself, okay, he's clearly enjoying the high of having his best friend be a superhero. So I get that. But I just love how he's coming up with all these secret tests. Yeah. Secret fire immunity tests.
Right.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was fun. I enjoyed that part where they're filming it. I started to feel like there weren't many consequences when they were at the 7-Eleven and the burglars were like shooting them repeatedly, and he's like, "Shoot me in the face now!" And I was like, the burglars seem very okay with this. Yeah. They're just like, "Okay, sure, I'll shoot him." And I was like,
"They're like, still a chance."
Yeah, I was like, "This is getting silly." I mean, I
just love how you can see their puzzled faces because they're like. What the hell's happening right now?
This doesn't work. But if Superman existed in this universe, I feel like they wouldn't. They'd probably be as surprised.
They'd probably just run off, I think.
Yeah, but or if it was a Snyder film, they would have shot the cripple kid.
Can we talk for a moment about the two bullies who are?
Yes, that bothered me.
I was like, dang.
I was like, are these Satanist bullies or something? Because these are high school bullies that are legit the worst human beings possible.
I don't get it because.
That's the definition of poor writing.
The worst bullies I ever came across when I was in school, even they were like, okay, no, cripple kids are a no-go. It's like when you're a gangster and you don't shoot women and children. It's just, there's
respect among criminals.
Exactly.
You don't hit a cripple kid with your truck
and
then start beating him up because he dented the car.
And if you do, you're like, oh my god, I'm sorry. You give this kid like, I don't know, mani-pedis and massages for about a month to make up for it.
I don't know anyone that mean.
Now, I don't know anyone that
I know some terrible people,
like,
but I can't think of someone that would do that.
I don't like to invoke God ones, but even Hitler wouldn't have...
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I knew that was coming up.
I mean, if he was German, he probably would have been like, oh my god, I'm sorry.
I have hit the cripple.
Just gonna omit that part about the gas chambers for a second.
No.
But still, it's
no,
like...
you're right, though. That bothered me. I watched it with Wyatt, who I can tell you, he's not here today, but he did not like the movie.
He did?
He was rolling his eyes through most of it. He laughed hysterically at the Superman scene. But the rest of the movie, he kept going like, this kid annoys me. I hate this kid. But yeah, I didn't hate it as much as Wyatt did, I think. I liked certain elements of it, like I forget what the handicapped kid's name is. Freddie is jealous that he didn't get the power, and I thought that was appropriate. I was like, he's probably wishing that would have been him, because he's the one who's into superheroes, and Billy doesn't care that much. Which is why, again, like the Billy / Shazam dynamic doesn't match up very well to me. But still, I thought Freddy did his role appropriately of like being obsessed with it and wanting it and being jealous, and that's a point of tension.
And being like his little sage, like his midget manager person.
And he's constantly trying to prove to everyone that he's like friends with
useful.
him. He's like, no, I know him. We're good friends. We're good friends. But yeah, the bullies. I did like that the bullies ended up being saved by Freddy. I thought that was.
I was like, okay, Freddy's not a bad person.
Yeah.
He's still got a moral compass.
The cop way out would have been if they just left it with the demolishing of the truck, which is a classic DC thing. It's part of the trend now. They did the same thing in Man of Steel. There's a jerk.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a jerk that ticks off Clark Kent.
That's right.
And
he destroys
so Clark Kent destroys his truck.
Yep.
And now there's jerks that tick off Freddy, so Shazam destroys the truck.
If anything happens to the enemies of DC directors, we'll know.
Yeah. Right. I thought the villain was a little weak. Maybe it felt
a little bit weak. I could cut.
There's bugs in here. Still working out the bugs. He reminded me of Sans. So anytime he showed up on screen, I wanted to go
Sans.
The little skull character. So anytime he came on screen, I just started laughing. But yeah, it was kind of like, all right, he was a child. He thought he saw Wizard, and then like 30 years go by or whatever, and he's still looking for it, and he has all the money and resources somehow. Yeah, it's a little weak build up, but
my main complaint I think about the 7 deadly sins thing is just because it doesn't mesh well. It looks, obviously it's a stupid thing to complain about. Like, it's computer generated. No kidding, but this is just
it has to be.
This is just because I'm now off the heels of something like Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah.
Where even though a lot of it was CGI, it meshes very well just because they
did a good job.
They did a really good job. Exactly.
Right.
Like, even Ed Skrein, who only has like a face.
Yeah.
That's normal. It looks like I can touch it. And then I see these and I'm like, okay, now we're veering back into the goofy. A little bit. Which I like, but
I also felt like the Shazam costume doesn't fit well with the 7 Deadly Sins. They look very gruesome, and they look like Dark Souls characters. You know, they look super like that one that's fat and it's like mouth opens up.
I'm pretty sure that was Gluttony.
Gluttony, yeah. I was like, dang, these things are creepy, and they're like biting people's heads off, and then you cut to Shazam, which kind of looks like a Power Ranger, and I'm like,
I couldn't get out.
There's contradicting tones here.
Yeah.
Shazam looks like he should be fighting a giant robot. You know.
Yeah.
Like, that's his costume look, but
right.
The Seven Deadly Sins look like something Wonder Woman would go after.
I have to wonder now, like, so here's a fun fact for you, Drew.
Okay.
Because Shazam is not actually called Shazam.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, Captain. But it's funny because there's
another Captain Marvel.
Yeah, but what's funny is that they actually, like, just because I've always perused tropes and seen this, but they have a trope called "I am not Shazam."
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, okay, do they have to change this, or are they actually gonna try and call him Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Or are people just gonna keep calling him Red Cyclone or Captain Sparklefingers or something?
Captain Sparklefingers. That wouldn't have been bad.
Captain Sparklefingers, DC movie.
Right. I want to see that one. Yeah, but it for me is just like an okay. Like I enjoyed Wonder Woman more.
Yeah, okay.
I thought that was better.
I thought it was somewhere between like Aquaman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, probably. I'd probably agree with you. I thought of the DC films, this is one that I was rather unimpressed with. I still find it more well constructed and well written than the Snyder movies, like Dawn of Justice or Justice League, which are very clunky.
Well, even it just seems like they tried to actually kind of world build some stuff and make it seem like it worked. Like we were talking about this before, but like how Freddy has a certified bullet that hits Superman, and he's like, it's worth like $600. Cool. I'm like, okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. I never thought about that before. Yeah, I like that
they would sell those like that's cool. I like that.
That's pretty good.
But it makes it even worse knowing that Henry Cavill's not coming back.
Yeah.
And that they're gonna try to write off Superman and Batman because Affleck is out. Out of their two biggest characters have left.
I mean,
they could go for a recast, I guess. But
they did it with they recast Edward Norton with Mark Ruffalo, so
that's true. But it'd be a little bit different if Edward Norton was in Avengers and Age of Ultron.
True. And
then they switched to Ruffalo in Infinity War. That would have been a bit weirder. But yeah, no, it's still a mess.
They still have I think, honestly, at this point, since it's already kind of a dumpster fire, if they recast somebody, I'm like, you'd probably be doing more good than
get
harm.
the Superman from the CW.
Yeah,
just get him and be like, that's Superman now.
Oh man, that would work.
He's Superman. Done.
He's Superman.
Or get Nick Cage.
There you go.
I'm on board for the Nick Cage idea.
Please get Nick Cage. I want this. I want this.
Have you seen those old posters, the behind the scenes?
No.
Because they started to film Superman with Nick Cage. He had long hair too. It was pretty great. I want to see it, but yeah. I would say like.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that kind of
there's not huge problems with it, other than tonally, I thought it was a little off.
Yeah.
The scenes with the little kids, like the younger foster kids, were very, very, like, it felt like Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
It started to turn into Power Rangers, and I was like,
I thought the little black girl was adorable, just because she's like, cute. You figured it out all by yourself. I'm like, oh. But then, like, she becomes her own little Shazam, and I was like, okay, this got weird.
Yeah, now I have more questions.
Yeah.
I feel like a little kid would stay as the Shazam version of themselves all the time. Yeah. And I also lost track of who was who. I was like, I can't tell.
Can we take a moment to
which kid is
the Asian kid going Hadouken?
Yeah.
It's like, god dang it.
That's probably what a kid would do.
Yeah, I would.
But I also imagine them screaming and running away in fear.
Yeah.
Not to mention, remember one of your biggest problems with Man of Steel? We've had arguments about in the attic days.
That's the attic days. Oh god.
Remember when Zod takes his helmet off?
Yeah,
and he learns his powers like that?
Yeah, that's true.
This film also suffers from that because Billy takes a good couple days before he learns how to fly.
I like that
they just
I like that they kind of figure some of their stuff out by accident.
Yeah,
like Darla is just she's like, I think I can run fast.
Yeah,
like, or
they in about 2 minutes find all their powers.
Yeah.
Even though the majority of the film is them working
The flying thing makes sense to me just because Freddy seemed to be obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And I just like that even when he's doesn't need to fly, he's just floating.
Right. Though they believe.
They
already believe, I guess. Maybe that's your counterpoint.
Maybe that's what's going on.
They already know they can.
But it's still like,
I I kind of liked how the one kind of overweight foster kid didn't say anything. He was almost silent through the whole movie. Wyatt was like, "That's me." He's like, "Hey, say hi to Billy."
I was just thinking. I was just like, "Oh God, Wyatt's gonna sympathize with this kid."
Yeah, he just doesn't care.
He doesn't.
Like, there's a scene where one of the 7 deadly sins is holding him back, and he's just kind of like, you know, mildly concerned.
Mildly, yeah. he's just like
he's being held. He's like,
he's like in limited discomfort. He's just like,
oh, these stupid monsters.
Yeah.
Limited discomfort. That sums it up pretty well.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I thought it was weird at first. The whole thing about how the mom did. I was just like,
yeah. How did you feel about that backstory?
I mean,
the mom.
Initially, I was just like, excuse me, but if a mom doesn't know where her kid's at, if they're any good, they look for the kid. They scream and freak the hell out. And then that happened. I was like, oh, okay, now it makes more sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say the whole movie I was confused.
Yeah.
That you basically got lost at Walmart and then never found your mom again. Like, that was their backstory. So I was like, oh.
The county fair is Walmart. I'm not complaining. It's probably about the same base.
It's about the same. It's about as common.
Yeah.
That the kid would get lost at Walmart and the mom would probably go to the...
Yep.
But they kind of cheated a little bit. I don't know if you noticed. When they showed him getting lost at the fair, she acted a certain way. And then when he finally meets his mom in the movie, they changed the tone of it.
I chalked that up to, like, he remembers it differently.
That's
because
fair.
he was a little kid.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because he remembered it differently, once we see the real flashback, she's like, oh my God, I hate this kid.
Yeah.
I want to get rid of him as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I'm like, it just felt a little tacked on at the end that he meets her, and he's like,
yeah,
I gotta go save my real family.
I was gonna say, it probably would have been more respectful to him if he just, like, you know, almost knocks and was like, no.
I already have a family. That it felt very Meet the Robinsons esque. Because that's how
Oh man, it's been years since I watched that.
That's a good movie.
It's a
I love that movie. I love when he goes back in time and he's about to meet his mom, and then he backs out and says, I already have a family. Yeah. I was like, that was a cool character moment. In this, he's like, oh, my mom lives with...
My mom is trailer trash without the trailer.
And she's like, I gotta go to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Then he hands her a compass and says, you can use this.
You need it more than I do.
And she's like, what? It was just kind of weird. I don't know. Yeah. It didn't feel satisfying.
I liked how what they were going for. But I was like, they probably could have done that a touch better.
I think that could have been nice, like icing on the cake for the end of the movie, not something that happens right before the climax and makes him go, "Oh, my mom doesn't care about me. I should focus on the foster family I've had for 3 days." It just felt a little weak to me. But I still overall there were parts that I liked. I felt like the villains were. Not just the main villain, but like any antagonist was written poorly. Like the dad was like, "You're a terrible son. I hate you so much." Yeah, it was like, "Geez, okay." Is that how a parent acts?
I liked the foster parents. They felt pretty believable to me. If only, but I loved the dad's dialogue here and there, just like, "Oh no, the tofurkey! Oh no, we might have to eat a real turkey." I was like, that was beautiful.
They were well cast.
They were very well cast. I recognize that guy, and it's bugging me who he is.
He looks like Jason Momoa's uncle.
Can we take
a moment? Didn't he look related?
A little bit, but can we take a moment to appreciate the fact that even with Jason Momoa playing Aquaman, Aquaman's still getting shots fired in his direction?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do with telepathically communicating with fish? Oh, I don't know. Command billions in the ocean.
Right.
Okay, but that's not that cool. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Right. What are you talking about? Yeah. No, that's true. I liked the training sequences were funny.
Yeah. I know you had stuff to say about this in the trailer when he was doing the flossing.
Oh, God.
And I was like, okay, he's being a teenager right now.
Yeah, I mean, that is probably what a teenager would do, I admit, but that doesn't make it funny.
It doesn't make it funny.
That makes it eye-rolling to me.
I just love
even if it's accurate.
I just love that whole sequence was cut to "Don't Stop Me Now."
Yeah, I like the music choices were pretty good.
There were some good music choices.
They weren't.
Also, this is a Christmas movie, apparently.
Yeah, can we bring that up? There was so many underlining Christmas moments, and I'm like, you know when you're coming out, right? This is April. You're coming out April fifth.
Someone
sixth?
at DC was just like, Jesus' birth, Jesus' resurrection, whichever one.
Why was this so... It doesn't really push the plot forward that it's taking place during Christmas. It just happens to be Christmas, and it would have made more sense if this movie came out in like November or December. Also, remember this takes place in the same universe as Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Isn't that even more bizarre? Like the Joker and Harley Quinn are in this simultaneously. Like we have Gotham, and then there's Pittsburgh.
That's what that's another thing that bugs me. It always gets me thinking about that kind of thing. Because
don't bring up where Gotham is. You'll just confuse people. Also,
it's somewhere like New Jersey.
Metropolis and Gotham are neighboring cities.
That's another thing I never got that because I thought
they brought that up in Dawn of Justice and went, of course.
Yeah, I don't.
They're right next to each other.
I don't get that because I think. Oh God, I think DC has never been historically good at determining where their cities are.
Yeah.
Oh God, like I was so confused watching like Arrow.
Yeah,
because I was trying to figure out where the hell is Starling City.
Yeah,
and because like
Kansas.
Well, no, it's like I think canonically it's supposed to be somewhere around Seattle.
Oh,
which makes sense to me. I'm like, okay, Pacific Northwest. It would make sense why they were sailing to China in the show.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But then they're saying that there's like they're going to Bloodhaven. I'm like, that's the opposite side of the country, bro.
Right.
That's like.
Location-wise,
that's like
confusing.
riding a sewer pipe from Gotham.
What I did appreciate, one joke that I did like was they finally addressed the two guys being very far away from each other. And
yeah.
And he can't hear him.
He's like, what?
Are you giving some kind of evil speech? And then they just cut far away, and he's like, and I will bathe in... far away. Even though there were other points in the film where they did stuff like that and they could hear each other, but regardless, I was like, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Didn't it feel kind of... There was a lot of Man of Steel vibes in this when they're, flying through the city. And
can we appreciate the moment that there was only like maybe a combined total of, I don't know, maybe $200,000 property damage to the city?
You gotta count it in these movies.
You gotta count it, because I was like, okay, so that on-ramp is gonna need to be repaired. That one window is gonna take a lot of time to replace.
Also, that bus destroyed that barrier on that bridge. Someone should look into that. I was a little confused. Like, he makes the bus blow its wheel, and it just kind of hits the side of a freeway bridge, and it instantly opens. And I'm like, that's not how those work, but okay. Also, if you catch a bus falling off a bridge, that doesn't make it better than hitting the ground.
It makes me think of when Angry Joe and Nostalgia Critic were reviewing Man of Steel, and I think it was Perry White was just like, he saved us, and Doug Walker's like, could you not say that when the place looks so 9/11? And I was just like, seriously.
It says that in Ground Zero.
At least
he saved us. 90,000 people died just now.
At least you could say like Shazam
there were some
is the
jumping
most...
through buildings though.
There was some jumping through buildings.
He gets thrown through several buildings, and I'm like, oh god.
But at least
don't bring it back.
At least Metropolis didn't get like
dubstep death.
Dubstep death.
And he throws Superman, and he flies through like 80 buildings.
Yeah.
And no, this one he's like, we have to show him landing in the like dressing room where people open it, and he's like, I'm just gonna chill here for a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Also, how does he I can already see CinemaSins going to town on this movie.
Oh yeah.
Like when he electrocutes the elevator door and it instantly opens, I'm like, you wait for the elevator because it's at a different part of the building, not because the door is slow. So if the elevator's down here, even if you zap it, you gotta wait. Anyway.
Why does he take the elevator? He can fly anyway.
Yeah. Why does a flying character take the elevator?
Yeah. Because he's with Batman.
So now, is there gonna be a second Shazam with all of those characters?
I assume there is. I mean, they were already sequel baiting Aquaman pretty hard, so I'm like, okay, it wouldn't surprise me if they were trying to do another Shazam movie at this point.
Was your theater pretty full?
It was pretty good. I think when we got there, we made sure, but she said
not like packed.
Not packed. I think there was like 80 people in a house for 140.
Because ours was pretty dead.
Really?
Yeah, compared to Captain Marvel, which when we watched that,
that's a shame. That's a shame.
It was no seat available.
Yeah.
You know, when we watched Captain Marvel, but I think that has more to do with Infinity War than it does Brie Larson, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think more people.
I was gonna say I imagine
Avengers.
I think the reason that most people didn't go watch Shazam is because they have no idea who the hell he is.
He's not a very known.
He's known.
I mean, he's known, but it's not like.
It's not mainstream known.
Probably like Iron Man before Favreau.
Exactly.
Directed it. It was like, Iron Man? What?
Like, you don't. When you think of Marvel, you think of the big, or not Marvel. If you think of DC, you think of the big three. You know, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman. And if you think of like Marvel, you're thinking Spider-Man, Captain America, Hulk. Shazam is not a character that most audiences are going to be like, my favorite superhero is Shazam.
Oh yeah, Shazam.
Same with Captain Marvel. No, mainstream audiences just aren't going to see that because, oh my god, I know who Captain Marvel is. It's not like it's deep vault stuff, but there's enough comics continuity that if you don't get into it, it's pretty understandable why, because there's like 30 freaking years of lore.
Yeah.
Most of it is probably retconned.
Right. To me, it just feels bizarre that it feels like DC is making a Marvel film and Marvel's making a DC film right now. It feels like Endgame is going to be, which I'm excited for.
I'm very excited.
I'm looking forward to Endgame because it looks quite dark, which I appreciate. It looks very sad and depressing.
Oh yeah.
And I think
and
it's
then
earned.
Ant-Man's like, hey!
Yeah, I'm Paul Rudd. And like Endgame looks very dark and grimacing and like the end of an era, whereas DC had their dark and grimacing times, and now they're moving towards
trying
the
to
uplifting.
pivot.
And I think Marvel's method works better because you like characters when they're comedic and funny.
And then when everything's hitting the fan, you're like, oh, this is serious.
And you're attached to them. Now I'm like, I don't know who this is, but I guess he's funny. And I was introduced to Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Batman, Superman, and now I'm being told to throw all those out. So I think DC has even admitted, like, we're gonna try to break apart from the universe. Like they're like, we're not focused on the EU that much anymore. We're just gonna make movies
because there's nothing to be focused on at this point.
That's the closest you can get to a retcon.
I've said this numerous times, but they screwed themselves over because it's like they started building a house with Man of Steel, and then they like did that pretty much correctly. It's all functional, but then and that was like, I don't know, the living space, the place that people are going to spend their most time with. And then they try to go to the next logical conclusion, which is like, we'll just say for this metaphor, the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because you're always going to need something else, and for that, for most people, that's going to be Batman. But then they like built everything weird.
Right.
Or didn't address it. It's like
they built the foundation too quickly.
It's
like you started with the roof.
Yeah.
And you were like, we'll lift the roof up high when we lay the concrete. And it's like, no, Marvel gets it right. You build the concrete first, and then you put your framework, and then you top it off with the roof. Then that's the last piece.
Then the writers of Captain Marvel are like that one carpenter or contractor who didn't look into the history of the house.
No.
And then they started adding on stuff.
Right. They tacked on little
what's this? The SHIELD logo.
Yeah. Captain Marvel is the attachments you'll see on suburban houses that look like shades, but they don't move. They're just attached to the window.
Captain Marvel is what happens when you tack on dated-looking things to a relatively undated home.
Yeah. I like this metaphor. We should keep this going. How to build your
lore house.
How to build your lore house. This works. Yeah, if I were to give Shazam a letter grade, it would probably be like a C. Not like a failing grade or anything.
It's teetering for you, basically.
It's teetering. Yeah, I can see a ton of the potential, and there were a ton of moments I liked. And when I hear people say they like it, I see what they're going for. But to me, it's very difficult, especially with the way DC has made their movies, to ignore what's pre-existing and the tone shift and the writing not being fantastic. There were good moments and bad moments, so I'm in the middle. I'm just like,
I think I'm a little bit more forgiving just because I enjoyed it. There's parts of it that really spoke to me, and I was like, that's cool. I never thought of that before. And I think just the fact that it's not trying to be joyless is a huge plus for me, because I mean,
not trying to be joyless.
when you make a character like Superman, who is historically a very genuinely happy person, freaking God, it's like, just stop. Yeah,
Martha.
Yeah,
and I just want to imagine a scene of Shazam meeting Henry Cavill, Superman, and being like, "Hey, so I have a friend." That's my Zachary Levi voice. "I have a friend named Freddy, and he would love to meet you. So could you come to my school and get hot lunch with us?"
Right.
And Henry Cavill, Superman, is like, "Of course, I will meet Freddy, and I will get fries."
I like that you specified it was a hot lunch.
Yeah,
because I could totally see like Superman flying through the air after being like, "I have to save money," and he brings like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in a brown paper bag. He's just protecting it from the wind.
It's so out of place too, because it's the
just
same outfit.
It's just like flapping on his cheek.
Like, it's the same outfit from Man of Steel, you know, like the more epic looking Superman outfit, and he's in a high school getting lunch, and I'm just like.
Also, I noticed this. Tell me if you saw it too. But I'm pretty sure they reused the exact same shot in front of the school at least like 3 times. Because I saw the exact same 3 girls like all meet up and hug each other, and they're wearing the exact same clothes. I was like, you got lazy.
I think they filmed all that in one day.
You thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
Those tiny little things, yeah. They probably shot all that in one day.
That wasn't like a deal breaker thing. I just wanted to call somebody out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an okay film. I think even without the extended universe, it would still be considered meh to me. I would still be like, eh.
I think it kind of works as a standalone if you can ignore some of the other stuff. Like, I would actually like it better if this is like our introductory.
That would be very interesting.
That would have been very interesting.
Can you imagine this film without the whole Dawn of Justice League, Man of Steel backstory?
I could do that
and
really
just
easily.
Referring to Superman but not ever seeing him for like 4 films, I think would have been amazing. It's a shame it's too late. They've already screwed it up.
I feel like we need to write a bunch of DC scripts.
Yeah.
And just like sit on them.
But I like the idea of kind of pulling what Marvel did in focusing on characters that weren't very huge.
Yeah.
You know, Iron Man was like, what? Thor, Captain America, they were all like somewhat known, but by no means the mainstream.
Right. Or even characters that are huge that really never got a chance in film before, like Wonder Woman. That was a huge step.
That's true.
Just because it's like that's like, I'm still baffled it took us this long to get that, honestly, because I'm like, that's
a big character.
This is American iconography for how long now?
Right.
She's literally wearing the American flag.
Yeah.
And
she's been around for a while, and it took this long.
A long while.
Right.
And I was just, in my head, if we're talking about starting with not so huge characters, I'm thinking, okay, so if we started with something like maybe Wonder Woman, and
Shazam and Aquaman would be good first.
Shazam and Aquaman, they would be extremely well first.
These are Phase 1 characters.
These are Phase 1 characters. But I just think about Wonder Woman, how like, you know, Bruce Wayne sends that photo in the beginning. I'm like, oh, that would actually be like a good like reference piece right there. And you don't see Batman, you just kind of hear of him. And then you see like, I don't know, maybe they talk about him in Aquaman or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
They show the Batarang, and they just establish this is the thing.
I mean, just think back for a second. Doesn't Justice League already feel more memorable if you'd seen Aquaman?
Yeah.
And then Aquaman like meets Batman, you'd be like, whoa, they're interacting.
Right.
But way back when, I remember how I felt when the Justice League trailer dropped, because I was like, who's this? I don't care. I wonder if, you know how there's those people who are like, what is the proper way to watch the Star Wars franchise?
Ooh.
Like the order? I wonder if you could rearrange the EU into a way that would make it somewhat interesting. It's like, if you've never seen any of them, start with Shazam, then watch Wonder Woman, then watch Aquaman, and then build your way up.
Dude.
Never watch... Oh, and then watch Man of Steel.
I'm trying to think of other characters that'd be really good for this, because... to start off, because I think the next 2 characters I would think of are characters like maybe Cyborg and maybe Martian Manhunter, Just because.
Yeah, I wonder if they haven't done enough damage to the Cyborg character in Justice League that it's still salvageable.
It's
like
a cyborg machine man is salvageable.
Yeah. Do you think they could make a solo cyborg? And
I think they could
make it okay.
I think because I don't remember anything like blatantly painful about his character. Honestly,
it was just not backed up. We just didn't know him very well.
It wasn't very well established. Besides the one kind of horrific looking cameo in Dawn of Justice.
They had 5 minutes of backstory to catch up on. So all we knew about him was computers. He uses computers. He can talk through them.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were all like, okay. You know, if we had a whole movie to back him up.
They still kind of have a chance with the Flash, but I don't like Ezra Miller as the Flash.
Oh, really?
Maybe
just because CW is too good.
Grant Gustin is a great Flash.
Yeah.
And I don't... It bugs me because I mean I said the thing earlier about like Shazam being Spider-Man's equal. It's really more probably Flash that's equal here. Now I think about it, but like
even though they're
too different.
Yeah.
But I liked, just because I'm thinking about it now, because I like how Grant Gustin just feels like a regular guy who's caught up and stuff, and it feels more real when we see his introduction, how he got his powers and stuff.
Right.
And Ezra Miller, it just seems like he's trying to be like, I'm that kind of eccentric guy who likes Rick and Morty and Asian dance stuff. And it's...
Yeah, I feel like the Shazam character in Flash in one movie would bother me. Because I'm like, okay, this is like a kid and a slightly older kid.
Yeah.
Collabing with a 50-year-old Batman. And I'm like, this is just out of place.
It just bugs me. I didn't like how they showed off Flash's super speed, just because I was thinking to myself, okay, one of the few things I really appreciated the most, besides Andy Serkis and Age of Ultron, was just Quicksilver's like perception of what was happening around him.
Yeah,
like that one point where the bullet flies past his face and he's just looking at it because it's just like,
yeah,
and he's just like, wait, what? He doesn't even realize he's getting shot at because he's just looking at it so slow, and all of a sudden for Flash, when Batman decides to throw a batarang at him and make a point, just like lightning, even though he's standing still. I'm like, what? I'm pretty sure that's not how that works.
Yeah. Instant slowdown. Yeah, no, I thought it was kind of nifty because he like figures it all out in 1 second, you know? Like throws the batarang, looks at it, looks back at him, puts the pieces together, but... I always thought to myself, like, man, Bruce was convinced.
Yeah.
Imagine if that was Flash's twin brother who doesn't have powers.
Yeah.
And he just throws the batarang into his face. Like, that's what I keep imagining. I was like, that was kind of stupid.
I don't know if Ezra Miller's chances of being the Flash are totally screwed at this point.
Yeah, I don't either.
I feel like it could kind of go either way, but we already have the CW Flash. It's
too good.
It's too
well known.
It's too well known. It's too good. Did you know that the guy who plays Barry's father played the Flash in the 90s?
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah, isn't that freaking funny?
Yeah.
And now he plays the Flash again.
Yeah. I like the old hat.
It's like symmetry. It's poetry.
It's poetry, so that they rhyme.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I think maybe Flash wouldn't be a good solo film.
We need to go. We just need to write a bunch of scripts for like a month, do nothing else, and then just go to DC's main office and be like, make this,
build it, and we will come.
Yes.
Right.
Like, we don't even need money. If you want to throw cash at us, that's fine. But just stop sucking.
Yeah, I want to see the box office of Shazam.
I
think that'll decide whether or not they keep doing this. But
I know there's not a chance in hell it's gonna beat Captain Marvel.
No,
so
probably not.
I wish it would, just because I'm like, this is automatically a better movie, just because the main character actually is having fun.
The character is a character.
The character's a character,
and not just a face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So letter grade, you'd give it?
I'd give it a B+.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
It's not quite A material, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily a C. It's just, it's good. It's a good enough movie that, like, if it comes on again in the future and there's something else on, or if there's other stuff on and I'm like, oh, Shazam, I'm gonna probably watch Shazam.
Yeah, it's cute. I think the kids will enjoy it. I think I was a little too old for it. I feel like if I was 16, I would have loved this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Anywho, let us know what you thought of Shazam. Thank you for watching. Our average grade, I think, is like a B minus C plus
basically, yeah,
area if you combine our scores.
Yeah.
But thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Have a good one.
Bye bye.